car crashes, defective products, dangerous drugs, injuries, and abuse. Across the state of Alabama, the attorneys, proudly sponsored by the law firm of Hollis Wright, are here to serve you. Your tough legal questions answered by our experts with the attorneys of Hollis Wright.
Welcome to the Attorneys. I'm Art Franklin. On this show, we're doing something a little bit different. Normally, you see us talking about a specific topic, or we'll be talking to a lawyer from even another law firm. But tonight, on this show, we're talking to these two guys, Josh and Carter, as we talk about the year in review and all the things going on at the firm. So why this show? Why did you guys decide that we would do a year in review?
Well, first of all, so happy, as always, to be with you. And really happy to be with Carter, my partner, too, together to talk a little bit about, this is actually Carter's idea. Carter came up with the idea and said, we ought to do a show on just a little bit about year-end, what's going on at Hollis Wright, because I think that people that watch this show and that consistently tune in to hear about legal things would like to know a little bit about kind of what's going on with our law firm. And I think it's a great point. Why? I'd say a couple things. One is I think this gives us an opportunity to give a peek behind the veil just a bit of the inner workings of Hollis Wright and what makes us tick and hopefully what makes us successful in representing our clients. So I do think it is a bit of a peek behind the veil. The other thing I think is I like to talk a lot about process. Carter and I both talk about process. Not every law firm does things the exact same way. Not every law firm is built the same way. And we believe that what separates Hollis Wright among some other things is the process that we use as lawyers to teach a blueprint to the lawyers we have at the law firm so that you're going to get the same quality of service if you get Carter Clay, you get Josh Wright, you get John Spade, you get Craig Shirley, whoever you get at our law firm. The blueprint that we're teaching and have consistently taught year after year after year is what makes us uniquely different from other firms and successful.
It's the culture.
I think that's true. I think it's culture and it's the process we use in how we litigate our cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, happy holidays to both of you, first and foremost. And it's great to be on with both of you, particularly Josh. This is not often that we're on the show together. Usually I'm in that chair or he's in that chair, and we've got a guest from another law firm on the show with us. And I guess for me, Josh and I will meet very soon. We have our end of the year meetings internally at the law firm where we discuss a range of topics, whether it be budgetary, whether it be job performances by lawyers, staff members, job performances by each other. We keep each other in check and we challenge each other all of the time. And I thought that why not do this on the show and kind of, as Josh says, peek behind the veil a little bit of what's been going on at Hollis Wright throughout the entire year up to this point. It's a great opportunity for us to reflect upon and kind of review the types of cases that we handled throughout the year, the people that we represented throughout the year, and the cases that we were able to resolve on behalf of our clients who were either injured or had a family member die tragically in some type of accident. So we just wanted to share a bit of information tonight with the viewers, and I hope they like the show.
I'm sure they will, and just want to let you know, as a viewer at home, you can still call in to Hollis Wright. We still have attorneys standing by because you may have a question, you may have a comment, you may even want to tell us about something that you noticed throughout the year. All you have to do is call 1-844-LAW-TALK. That's 1-844-LAW-TALK. And if you have a legal question, that question will be done confidentially. It's also anonymous if you need it to be that way. So you guys, that was a good starting point there. Talk about how active Hollis Wright is in social media. I think people see you everywhere now.
Well, I mean, and I appreciate you saying that. I think that there's some truth to that. We've made some significant adjustments in 2024 to the way that we're using social media to make sure that prospective clients and current clients understand what we offer and why we are uniquely different than some other law firm. Because here's the deal, and we talk about this all the time at the law firm. Separating yourself in a very crowded space is not always easy, right? We see a lot of lawyer advertisements, and some of those lawyer advertisements we don't like. right? We don't even love to have to do lawyer advertisements all the time. It's why we started a television show a long time ago, more to provide a service for people in a different format than just advertising on TV. But you know what? We do advertise on television, and we do social media. We do those things now, and we've expanded that in 2024. We do them in an effort to make sure people understand what we offer and how we may be uniquely different in our process and in the way that we handle cases and the bedside manner we have than some of the other law firms out there that are advertising, and even those that are not advertising, because it is a crowded space. But those are some of the things that I've seen.
Yeah, Melissa, our marketing director, has done a great job over the last several years building our social media platform. We actually hired somebody else in 2024 to provide some level of assistance, kind of tap into some new ideas and activities with respect to social media. So we're really trying to build out all of those platforms, and it's just another way to provide people in the general public with information and education about various legal topics so that they can make the best decisions possible for themselves and their families.
Talk a little bit about the TV advertising campaign that we changed this year in 2024.
Yeah, so we changed the campaign up. It will run throughout 2025 and probably into 2026 as well. But we've got a new theme called Let Us Tell Your Comeback Story. And Josh can expand upon this as well. But we got to thinking, all right, let's think about the people that we're representing and the position that they are in their lives when they come to see us. They've been injured in an accident, some very severe injuries, some not severe injuries, people that have lost loved ones in various accidents, truck accidents, medical malpractice. There's a range of reasons why people die, and they come to see us because they think that somebody engaged in misconduct. And so what we realized is that when these people come to us, they're trying to bounce back. They're trying to make a comeback either as a family or somebody that was injured in an accident. So why not go with that theme? Why not go with a theme that involves us helping somebody come back and allowing us, giving us the privilege to tell their comeback story as part of a lawsuit or a legal claim that we're bringing on their behalf? And that's why we went in that direction, and we're very proud of the commercials that we've come up with.
It's kind of interesting because I remember when one of my children was really young and I did a career day, and someone asked me what I did, and I said, I tell people's comeback stories. And Carter and I organically came up with this concept where I had one concept of the new campaign, he had a little different concept, and we melded it together with our brand content person that we've retained this year, with Melissa, who does our marketing internal at the law firm. And we all kind of melded this together to come up with this concept. But I mean, what's better than a comeback story, right? Sometimes the comeback story is greater than the original story of the person, right? And so we say through this process that who you hire as a law firm for your injury is not really going to necessarily define completely your comeback, but it will define your result. And so hire wisely when you're hiring someone to tell your comeback story. And so I think the campaign, you'll see it a lot. It's going to be all over social media. It's going to be on TV. I think the campaign is going to be fabulous. And you know what? It is a perfect example of who we are as people at our law firm and the culture we've created. We are all about telling people's comeback stories. We've been doing it for 25 years and we love it.
Josh very professionally described the process that we went through. All of the commercials are 15 seconds, and there are quite a few commercials that we're launching, but I can assure you and all of the viewers that it took a lot longer than 15 seconds for us to come up with everything that goes into it. It's a really time-consuming process, but again, it's something we're proud of and looking forward to.
No, I love the campaign, and I've seen it on television already. And who doesn't love a good comeback story? Yeah. But let me put it another way. Not only is it a comeback story, it's like a praise report. Like because people, it's a praise report of something that has really gone well because you guys have been able to make a difference in the lives of people who had an issue, but they came to Hollis Wright. And because Hollis Wright told their comeback story and got involved, they were able to make a difference.
And I know we need to go to commercial break, but let me say this. When we come back, I really want to start out talking about something we're very passionate about, which is a podcast that all of our lawyers are doing at our law firm now called the Law Talk Podcast. And I want to talk about that because it's really important to us, and it's another mechanism that we're using as a law firm to be able to get our voice out there, to let people know how we represent people and some of our success stories.
Give me that name again.
The Law Talk Podcast.
The Law Talk Podcast. Go ahead and write that down. Tell your friends about it. I know we always ask you to join us each and every week. So glad to have you. Go ahead and give your friends a call, your family members a call, and let them know that we're on. Because we're on, we're listening to you at 1-844-LAW-TALK. You can still reach an attorney there. And if you have a question that's a legal question, they will answer that question. It is a free, confidential call. Make that call right now. But come back as we continue to talk about the year in review at Hollis Wright. Stay with us. You're watching The Attorneys.
I'm Josh Wright with the law firm of Hollis Wright, a personal injury law firm, and thank you for watching The Attorneys. We hope you, a friend, or a loved one never needs legal counsel for a case. But if you do, the goal of the show is simple: to provide answers and legal counsel when you need it the most. Your call to the show is free and off air. So if you have questions specific to the show or related to other accident or injury topics, call, email, or text us. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, or go to hollis-wright.com and click on the Contact Us button. We know your time is valuable, so thank you for spending it with us and watching The Attorneys.
The Attorneys, proudly sponsored by the law firm of Hollis Wright, are here to serve you.
When we started the show in 2011, my goal was to do what our firm does best: help people answer questions related to real-world legal issues they have in their lives in a way that's not intimidating to talk with a lawyer. If the issue is important to you, it's equally important to us, and we're ready to talk with you at no cost.
Yeah, oftentimes people are confronting various legal issues in their lives that really run the gamut of a lot of different legal practice areas, such as bankruptcy, criminal law, civil law, such as personal injury, divorces, domestic relations. And to be able to have a show once a week that covers those practice areas and answers people's questions in those areas, that's really the main objective of the show.
We use the resources of the many lawyers at our law firm to create a plan that has a lasting impact for each person that calls or texts. And we also give back to the community at the same time. We are here to serve you, the viewer, each week on The Attorneys.
If you've been injured in an accident, trust the local Alabama lawyers who've been helping local people for more than 20 years. At Hollis Wright, our personal injury attorneys are right here in Birmingham and are ready to tell your comeback story.
And welcome back to this very special episode of The Attorneys. And as we were going to break, Josh, you mentioned about the podcast, the Law Talk Podcast.
You know, it is something we created and started in 2024. Melissa, our marketing director, has done a fabulous job distributing it across all social media platforms. So you can find us on YouTube if you want to watch the video of it. You can find us on Apple Music, on various podcasts like Spotify, options too. And, you know, it started out with a little historic background about where, after 23 years, how did the firm get to this place, right? And what we've done is we've now morphed that into a new concept for season 2, which will launch, well, I guess it did launch in October, and will launch throughout the next year or two. We're doing hot topics that may be hot, relevant legal topics. We're doing issues related to maybe case studies that we work on. And so we've launched a lot of these before today's show, and we've really enjoyed doing that. And it's something we'll continue in 2025. And you may have a different spin on the podcast.
No, I have to give Josh a lot of credit for this. So Josh, between the two of us, different personalities, he's probably more of the big picture creative individual when it comes to these types of marketing activities. I'm probably a little more reserved and conservative when it comes to these types of activities. But Josh came to me with the idea. He did the first several episodes. Usually when he's trying to get me on board with something, he tells me how awesome it's going to be and how much I'm going to enjoy doing it. And in fact, so he did the first several episodes, and then all of our lawyers, including myself, we did a lot of the next round of episodes or the next season of episodes that are out right now. And I did enjoy it. It was great. I really liked it. And I want it to be successful, and it has provided the viewers of the attorneys with a different platform. A lot of people listen to podcasts. I'm not one of those individuals. I don't listen to a lot of it. My wife listens to podcasts all the time. So it's a different way for people to get educated about the law, get information about issues that can impact their lives on a daily basis. And so we're really proud of it. We think it's going to take off and generate a lot of traction.
We also talk a lot, by the way, on this podcast. We talk about our process, and I mentioned that in segment 1 today about what separates Hollis Wright from a process perspective. And it's hard to put this into context other than to say, I do think that a lot of what separates us from other firms that are out there is the process that we use to litigate cases from the time they come in to the time that they depart our law firm, and the experience that person had and the result they had is something that is structured and taught at the partner level down to our other lawyers in order to make sure that they're following the same blueprint that has had success over the last many years for what we've done. And so that is hard to explain to someone that's trying to choose between law firms. But what I can tell you is this: if you come to our law firm, the process that you're going to get and the experience you're going to get is going to make you realize, I'm glad I went to that firm and didn't go anywhere else.
Yeah, and let me just interject this point because I think it's a good time to do that. I think one of the main differences that I think the viewers of our show and the general public needs to understand is that the show, the commercials that we run, the podcasts that we do, the social media activities, all of that is secondary to our primary role at the law firm, which is representing individuals. Josh and I represent individuals. We take depositions, we go to court, we try cases, we go investigate accidents. I'm not going to mention any names, but there are a lot of law firms out there that are advertising on TV where the people that are advertising, 100% of their time is devoted to marketing efforts. They're not handling cases. They're not taking depositions. They're not going to court. They're not trying cases. And that is a real distinction between our firm and a lot of law firms out there that I think is very important.
And let me take this opportunity to say also that in addition to being, seasoned and expert lawyers and very good at what you guys do from a legal perspective, you guys are great guys as well. It's something that, and I'll be honest, I didn't know that before. I saw you on television. Thought, it's like, these guys look like they know what they're doing. But once I became a part of the team, really got a chance to meet the guys. And you guys are just, fellas that everyone would want to hang out with.
Well, that's nice of you to say.
Yeah, thank you for
really
saying that.
Became good friends and certainly appreciate that. But I'm wondering, as you do this, because you get so many calls, and when we invite people to call in to Hollis Wright, what are some of the biggest complaints, Carter, that you guys get?
Well, I think probably the single biggest complaint is lack of communication. It is a big problem in our industry where clients are being represented by a lawyer in cases. In most cases, whether it's a type of personal injury case that we're handling, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a bankruptcy, whether it's a criminal matter, these cases take months, if not years, to work their way through the justice system. And the clients call in, they want feedback, they want to know what's going on with their cases, and lawyers are just not good at returning phone calls. And one of the things that Josh and I pride ourselves on, and we harp about not only to our staff but to our other lawyers, and that is returning phone calls and keeping clients apprised of what's going on in their cases. But that's probably the biggest issue that we see with lawyers.
Yeah, and I use the term bedside manner because I do think bedside manner matters, that we return every call, text, email. That didn't start this year. That started 23 years ago when we started this law firm, right? And so the reality is that I think that is a common complaint, that certain lawyers don't have a good bedside manner. We all have time to return calls of our clients. I mean, those are the people that we're representing, right? And they need to know that their lawyer cares about what's going on in their life and what changes are being made. I'll tell you another common thing that we see consistently, and that is we get complaints that my law firm brought me in and promised the world, yet they really just want to quickly settle my case and not work it up. I know I've used this term multiple times today, process. Let me tell you what process means to me also. It means, have we taught our lawyers how to properly evaluate a case, get experts involved, to turn a case into 2 times the value that another law firm can get? Have we taught them how to turn a $200,000 case into a $600,000 case, and a $600,000 case into a $1.2 million case? And process matters. It's one of the separating factors of what we do. So there are firms out there that want to promise you the world and tell you they're going to deliver everything that they can. They have all these unlimited resources. And then when you get there, your case is a quick settlement, and that's it. That is not what we do. And I'm not saying we don't have quick settlements. That happens sometimes. We are going to evaluate your case, work your case hand in hand with you to turn it into 2, 3, 4 times what you ever expected you could get out of it.
So the answer to your question is yes, you have taught them.
Yep.
Because you put a good process in place.
That's right.
Thank you guys for staying with us, but we're going to take another break here. Also reminding you once again that you can still reach someone at Hollis Wright at 1-844-LAW TALK. And go ahead and write down the Law Talk podcast. If you don't have it, go ahead and get it. Clay's going to be listening to more. So go ahead and stay with us. We'll be back and we'll wrap this up, this special edition of The Attorneys, right after this.
Thank you for watching The Attorneys each Sunday night, where we come to your living room to provide free legal advice in a confidential, off-air setting. Unfortunately, with the number of calls, texts, and emails that come in during the show, we can't always get to everything. But know this, Hollis Wright is open all week long. You call us at 844-LAW-TALK and we're going to answer your question for free. Thank you for watching The Attorneys, and we look forward to seeing you and talking to you soon. Victims think they're not strong enough to take on a corporation or an industry after an accident. And I'm here to tell you, with us at your side, you are. Don't be intimidated by anyone or anything. Let Hollis Wright tell your comeback story.
And welcome back to this special episode of The Attorneys. We want to get right back over to these guys, and we're talking about what this year has been like. And Carter, as you look back, is there a case that really stands out for you?
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to settle a lot of cases at the firm in 2024, but one case that stands out for me personally is I was able to resolve a case on behalf of a middle-aged man, married, had several children, hardworking individual. He was a roofer, and the company that he worked for had been retained by another company to come and re-roof metal sheets on an industrial warehouse type roof. And first day on the job, he fell through a skylight on the roof. He had all of his safety equipment on. He was tied off. It's a bit complicated, but for various reasons, he still wound up hitting the ground as he went through the skylight. We ultimately filed a lawsuit against the owner of the premises, making allegations against them that they really controlled the safety-related activities on the job. Those were the allegations in the case. It was 2+ years of hard-fought litigation. We took a lot of depositions in the case. There were safety experts involved in the case, and thankfully we were able to resolve that claim for that gentleman. The injuries that he sustained in that accident were spinal injuries. He basically broke his neck and back in several places. He spent 2 weeks at UAB hospital, then 2 weeks in inpatient rehabilitation, a lot of physical therapy outside. The surgeries involved basically 4 rods and about 38 screws to stabilize his spine in his body. And so that gives you a feel for what his injuries were like. But I'm very proud of the resolution of that case this year.
So that's a great comeback story.
It is a great comeback story, and my case is similar. It is a case that really will stick with me for a long period of time. It was a family, mother, father, minor children, young children, and then their grandparents that were involved in what appeared to be a very pedestrian-style trucking accident, where the accident report was originally written that it was our family's fault because they were in a blind spot and the tractor trailer pulled over the top of them. And it didn't sit right with me, and the family came and met with me, and I just wanted to fight for him. I just believed that the husband was super credible and said, look, this is not how this happened. And so I went ahead and dug in and filed the lawsuit, took a bunch of depositions, which are out-of-court statements, gathered a lot of documentation, and we ultimately determined that the tractor trailer driver had disabled his collision avoidance technology, which included a lane assist and a lane departure. That should have given notice that he shouldn't have been in that lane at the time, because our people were in the lane even if they were in a blind spot. We now have technology on tractor trailers that allow that. And we didn't just win that case, we got policy limits. And I'm very proud because there were some really bad injuries, and I believed that family when they came in. And, you know, that's not a credit to me, it's a credit to the process we've created. I follow it too, just like Carter does, that we're not just going to quit on something because it may look on its face one way. We're going to dig and try and figure it out and be relentless about it to determine, hey, is there a way to prove this claim? And that's one of the ways we did it.
And as you go through that process, Josh, how do you come up with the value for those cases?
Well, obviously the concept is that you want to evaluate cases on the front end. We roundtable cases internally at the law firm. So you want to fully and completely evaluate them. You probably want to get experts involved when necessary early on in the case to help determine the value of the case. Those are two things that our firm uses that many other firms don't, where one firm may just say, well, I'm going to go get medical records and I'm going to try and get this case settled quickly, turn it and move on to the next one. We're going to take that case that would have been settled by a firm maybe for $15,000, we're going to turn it into an $80,000 case by evaluating it correctly on the front end, getting experts involved, and being relentless in what we do. And I'm sure there are others.
Yeah, there's a saying, all cases are different, but Josh and I both have been practicing law for over 25 years, or right at 25 years now. Almost all cases, though, have similarities between prior cases that we've handled, and because of that, we're able to extrapolate the experience that we've had and apply that to cases that we currently have in order to arrive at good values for those types of cases. Roundtabling the cases with the lawyers in our firm, even talking with some lawyers that are outside the firm, is really helpful in terms of evaluating the cases that we have. We used to look at medical bills. We don't really look at those much anymore. We really just hone in and zero in on the injuries.
We genuinely hope, by the way, that people have an incredible holiday season, a great Christmas, and an awesome New Year's, and we've been real proud to help people out throughout this year.
It's been a good year.
It has been a good year.
Yeah, great job. Great job.
Good job, guys.
Good to have you. Good to have you guys joining us on this special episode. Go ahead and plan to see the next episode next week. Watch another edition of The Attorneys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great holiday. Be safe.
Thanks for watching The Attorneys, sponsored by Hollis Wright.